Hi everyone, I'm Mark Lichtenfeld, Chief Income Strategist with the Oxford Club. Welcome to State of the Market. If you're already a subscriber, you'll notice I'm not in my usual office with the Rolling Stones poster in the background. I'm in Baltimore at State of the Market headquarters, and it's great to actually have other people in the room with me while I'm recording. Say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Now, if you're not yet a subscriber, be sure to click that subscribe button. It's absolutely free, and that way you'll never miss another State of the Market video, including my upcoming Christmas video that you won't want to miss, and our end of the year blooper reel, though I never make mistakes, so I'm not really sure how they're going to put that together. Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Lichtenfeld, Chief Income Strategist. But be sure to subscribe to find out. All right, today I'm discussing the payout ratio. It's one of the most important statistics you need as a dividend investor. Luckily, it's also one of the easiest to understand.
That was easy.
The payout ratio is the percentage of a company's profits that it pays out in dividends. It helps you determine if a company can actually afford the dividend that it is paying. You simply divide the amount paid in dividends by earnings to arrive at the payout ratio. So if a company makes $100 million in net income and pays out $50 million in dividends, its payout ratio is 50%. In other words, it's paying out half of its earnings in dividends. If it paid investors $120 million, its payout ratio would be 120%, and that means it's paying shareholders more in dividends than it actually made in profits. Now, you can also calculate the payout ratio on a per share basis. So if a company earns $2 per share and paid $1.50 per share in dividends for the year, the payout ratio would be 75%. If it paid $3 per share in dividends, the payout ratio would be 150%, meaning it's paying out 50% more in dividends than it earns, and that could be a problem. Now, when you look up a payout ratio on the investing websites, that's how the number is calculated. And it's a decent big picture number to give you an idea if the company can afford the dividend. But I look at a different number. I use free cash flow rather than earnings, and that's because earnings have all kinds of non-cash numbers in its calculation. For example, you subtract depreciation and stock-based compensation from revenue to arrive at an earnings number. But those items don't represent cash that's going out the door. So the amount of cash that the company took in is actually higher. So here's what I mean. Let's say a company generates $100 million in revenue and has $50 million in operating expenses. That leaves it with $50 million. Now, if it had $10 million in depreciation, earnings would be reduced to $40 million. But that $10 million depreciation expense is an accounting trick. When an asset depreciates, cash doesn't go out the door. So in our example, $10 million was not paid out to anyone. Accountants just moved numbers on a spreadsheet.
What do you do?
I do the numbers.
So the more accurate number to determine if a company can pay the dividend is $50 million, not $40 million. So free cash flow adjusts for non-cash items and accurately calculates the amount of cash that the company brought in during the quarter or year. And since dividends are paid in cash, we want to be sure that the company generates enough cash to pay that dividend. The payout ratio using free cash flow is the same as with earnings, just substitute free cash flow for earnings. If a company's earnings are $100 million, but its free cash flow is $40 million, and it paid out $50 million in dividends using earnings to determine the payout ratio, you think everything is fine because it's only paying out 50% of its profits in dividends. But if you used cash flow, you can see that it's paying out more than 100% of the cash that it brings in, and that's not good or sustainable. And you could also have the opposite situation where earnings are $40 million, free cash flow is $100 million, and dividends paid is $50 million. And using the traditional method of calculating the payout ratio using earnings, you'd say the company can't afford its dividend. It's paying out more than 100% of its profits to shareholders. But when you use free cash flow, you'd see it's only paying out 50% of the cash it generates, so the dividend would be quite safe and sustainable. Dividend investors should always determine if their dividends are reliable. To do that, use the payout ratio, but do it using free cash flow, as it will be a more accurate indicator. For more wealth and income building ideas, check out my free e-letter, Wealthy Retirement. Just click on the link in the description. I will see you soon with our Christmas video and blooper reel. Thanks for watching State of the Market. I'm Mark Lichtenfeld.